नित्यानन्देश्वरसमारम्भां नित्यानन्देश्वरिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome all the devotees, disciples, Samajis, Satsangis, Sri Mahans, Mahans, Kotaris, Tanedars, visitors, viewers, sitting with us through Nityananda TV, Sadhana TV, two-way video conferencing, having Nayana Diksha. Cities sitting with us in two-way video conferencing all over the world. Grasse, France, Houston, Kalahasti, Guadalupe, Rameshwaram, San Jose, Madurai, Los Angeles, Hollywood, Hebal, Bangalore, London, Kashi, Surrey, Canada, Dubai, Vaidyanatham, Ohio, Ma Shivananda, Thiruvannamalai, Rivers, Slim River, Swami Malai, Hyderabad, Guptakashi, Oklahoma, Somanatham, Charlotte, Srisailam, London, Kashi, Toronto, Kailasam, Ohio, Prayag, St. Louis, Tirumala, Nityananda University, Los Angeles, and more Oman, Sivaganga, and more cities are joining. I welcome all of you with my love and respect. Today I wanted to expand on these two sacred truths. First, please listen, please internalize it. The first truth: anything which is truth strengthens you. Anything which is overlapped on the truth believed, whether it creates greed in you or fear in you, weakens you even while you are believing. Not only after you are disillusioned, even while you are believing, it weakens you. Please listen. Anything which is truth goes on strengthening you, even while you are working with it, while you are practicing it. The great truth, Nityanandoham, Shivoham. I am the ultimate possibility. When you work with this truth, understand, when I say I am the ultimate possibility, I mean you are the ultimate possibility. When you are working with the truth, even while you are working, it strengthens you day by day. But anything which is believed, which is not truth, which creates greed or fear in you, weakens you continuously, even while you are believing it, not only after the disillusionment. After disillusionment, you will completely feel powerless. You will feel deprived, cheated. You lost, you wasted. Not that only after you get disillusioned, you will feel cheated and deprived. Even while you are working with it, you will feel powerless. Shivoham. Deciding to work with the truth, Shivoham. Please understand, this truth you can't just believe and keep quiet. The truth is so powerful, it will provoke you to work towards it. It will provoke you to work towards it. Truth uttered by the right person, listened by the right being, provokes you to work towards it. It can never be one more sermon. No. Satsang is not sermon or discourse. After the discourse or during the discourse, you can be sleeping. Continue to be in slumber. But satsang provokes you. Neither during nor after you can be in slumber or sleeping. It provokes you. It awakens you. That's the right word I should use. It awakens you. While you are working with the truth, Shivoham, even while you are working, you have to take the responsibility for it. Don't expect somebody else can take the responsibility for your reality. If somebody else takes the responsibility for your reality, it will never be your reality. Yes, Guru can take the responsibility to make you responsible, not for anything else. Guru can take the responsibility to make you responsible. That is why his love is never appreciated. His love is not the cozy, comfortable feeling you felt in the name of love in your life when you were young. The pattern you believe as love. You cry and your mom rushes you and gives you food or candy. Your dad rushes to you and gives you some sweet and toys, whatnot. Your aunt brings you clothes. Your uncle brings you gift. What you believed as a love, the pattern of action reactions which you believed as love, you will not experience from Master, from an enlightened being. The love he radiates makes you like him. That is why you constantly feel you will feel energized when you come near the Master, when you are in his presence, when you listen to his words, when you imbibe his presence. But you will not feel the so-called love. And if you feel what you felt as a love pattern from the young age, from the Master also, maybe he is giving you little time to settle down and become comfortable. I do play the role of a father, mother, aunt, uncle for few days till the transition happens for you. You need to move from that to this, but not more than that. My love will make you responsible for the great truth of Shivoham. for the great truth of your reality. Understand, the truth has to constantly strengthen you. Truth has to constantly strengthen you. Anything which weakens you day by day is a belief. Anything which strengthens you day by day is a reality. Sit and open your whole being and see what all is in you which is strengthening you day by day. Support them. Stand by them. What all is in you which weakens you day by day, complete with them and drop them. Whether it is emotion, beliefs, thought currents, patterns, ideas, theories, theologies, whatever is strengthening you day by day, it is reality. Work with it. Work more and more with it. Whatever is weakening you, whatever is weakening you, be very clear. It is beliefs. It is belief system. Beliefs weaken you while you are with it, after it leaves you. Both. Even after disillusionment, you will repent for wasting your time in those stupid beliefs. The first truth I want you to internalize today. Anything which strengthens you is reality. Cherish it. Meditate on it. Encourage it. Contemplate on it. Awaken it in you more and more and more. Take responsibility for it more and more and more. Anything which weakens you, be very clear, it is a belief system. Belief system either will create fear or greed, because that is the only way it can create the false excitement in you. Please understand, excitement is life. Either it is created in you by fear or greed, or it can be created in you by responsibility and enriching. Yesterday I was having a discussion with one of my Mahans. She was very serious, asking me this question. I think sincere also. She was asking, Swamiji, 60% of the time I feel I should do what you are saying and inspired and all that. But 30-40% of the time I feel, what is there? What am I going to gain even if I do this? I said, this 40 will destroy the whole 60, because 40% poison is enough to destroy the 60% milk. The answer I gave her, I wanted to expand now for all of you. Listen. From the young age, you were never taught the truth responsibility and enriching can create excitement in you. Only the fear and greed was used as a driving force. Society constantly treated you as an animal. It was fear and greed, only that too was used to drive you. Only those two sticks were used to drive you. You have been treated as a slum dog by the society. It never taught you the royal way of exciting yourself. Understand? The beggar way of exciting yourself is driving you by fear and greed. Royal way of exciting yourself is responsibility and enriching. It is this shift makes you royal. Neither the palace nor the power or the buildings makes you royal. All those are paraphernalia. What drives you from inside, that makes you royal. The 9 years, the life I lived begging, living under the trees, I never felt in that whole 9 years, I don't have something. I am very clear. There are many people who lived around me. That period or when this organization was not around me. They are all witness. Never that experience of royalness. Was added to me by any of this organizational structure, or never it was missing when this organization was not there. Understand, it is dependent on what drives you. If responsibilism and enriching excites you, you are a king wherever you are. If fear or greed drives you, you are a street dog wherever you are. Even street dog have some organizations to protect them. You don't even have that. Even beggars have the organization to protect them. You don't even have that. What drives you? Understand? Any idea, the more and more you work with it, it should be making you responsible and enriching. Then that idea is truth. Any idea, when you more and more work with it, if it is creating fear or greed in you, then it is a belief, not reality. Shivoham. I am the ultimate possibility I can visualize. When you are working with this truth, it will naturally make you more and more responsible and more enriching. Few days before, I received a message from one of my Mahans from Mumbai Sangha. Whole Sangha went for Bhiksha. The message I received, the feedback I received is, Swamiji, we are all so excited, enthusiastic, energetic. Usually beggars, when they go for bhiksha and come back, they are completely collapsed and they have so much of guilt about themselves, disrespect about themselves. They will repent, curse themselves, what kind of a lifestyle they are having, what kind of a life they are having. Here you see, these guys after coming back from Bhiksha Vandanam, they are saying, we are so excited, we are not able to sleep, we are so energetic. Means understand, the act is not from fear or greed, it is from responsibilism and enriching. You are there to give, not to receive. But human beings are always afraid. Even you want to give something great, they are afraid. So you go in the shield of, you have come to ask. So they feel, wow, they are here to ask something. So they are in my control. There is a beautiful, very beautiful example. Just like Zen masters have koans, dasas, Kabir Dasa, Ramadasa, Vittala Dasa, Purandara Dasa, all the Dasa Parampara sons have their own couplets. They sing in couplets. Kabir Dasa, Purandara Dasa, Vittala Dasa, Ramadasa, Kanakadasa. This Dasa Parampara, they sing in couplets. Natha Parampara, they sing in verses. Agoris, their chants are called hunkaras. Agoris, India had some of the amazing spiritual gems produced by amazing spiritual traditions. Bowls in Bengal, they were very popular. They are called bahuls. Bahul means pahal, mad. They were intoxicated with the divine madness, they were called pahals. The Baul Sampradaya, Agori Sampradaya, Natha Sampradaya, Dasa Sampradaya, each of these Sampradayas have their own method of expressing their teachings. Bauls sing, Dasas write couplets, Nathas write slokas. Aghoris are not that sophisticated. Their teachings are called hunkaras. Means, just they will create the sound whoo, in that whoo sound, they will utter a few words. And then again the sound whoo will continue. Because they live in Smashana, they pick up the sound of the fox, wolves. So they make sound exactly like fox, wolves and dogs. Smashana Vasi Aghoris. There is a beautiful description in one of the Aghoris Hunkaradvani verses. I should not call them verses because they are not poetically organized or grammatically right. They are just few broken words uttered here and there between their hunkara sound. It says, when you are giving bhiksha, be aware that Brahma Kapala Mahadeva carries will just eat away your whole ignorance also. Not only what you give, it will just eat away your ignorance also. So unless you are ready to renounce the ignorance, don't come out of your house to give bhiksha. When Mahadeva comes and stands outside your house and asks for Bhagavati Bhikshan Dehi. Understand? Be aware. The person who is standing outside your house with a begging bowl, his begging bowl is not an ordinary bowl which will just take what you are offering. It is Brahma Kapala. If you stretch your hand to give what you are offering, it will eat away even your ignorance. I tell you, all our Mahans, Mumbai Sangha, when they went for Bhiksha, they were going for enriching. They were not going out of fear or greed. They were going with responsibility and enriching. Responsibility and enriching. They are going with the responsibility to enrich. That is why it is so exciting. It is so exciting. It is so energizing. It is so inspiring. I wanted all the Tanedars, Kotaris, devotees, disciples, do this. You will understand the power of it. Don't go for bhiksha for out of fear or greed. Go with the responsibility of enriching. You will see it is so exciting. It is so inspiring. You are a beggar or prince is not decided by the paraphernalia around you. There were many princes who were put on the throne, but fear and greed was the driving force in them. They were never able to be successful kings, queens. There were many people, just beggars in this country, whose driving force was responsibility and enriching. They lived like the royal kings and queens on this planet Earth. Sadashiva Brahmendra did not even own a piece of cloth. But the best royal body language I have seen in my experience is Sadashiva Brahmendra's body language. When the responsibility and enriching excites you, you will simply create a kingdom around you. Wherever you are, kingdom will simply happen around you. And you will be the leader of you. As long as the fear and greed is the driving force, you will never be alive. Because any one small word from anybody can trigger you to your core and shake you. can shake you. You are like a football. Anybody has a foot can kick you. Work more and more. Understand, work more and more to strengthen your responsibility, enriching part, exciting you. Work more and more to strengthen the responsibility and enriching part. There is no difference between you and me. I have more problems than you have, because all your problems are mine. You have not taken responsibility and you are waiting for somebody to fall from the heaven and take the responsibility for you. I have decided to stand up and take the responsibility for me. That's all. You are waiting for somebody to fall from heaven and take responsibility for all your problems and life. In my case, I have decided to grow tall till heaven and stand up for me and take the responsibility. That's all. Nothing else. Not only responsible for my life and my problems, even the problems people bring asking for help, even for their life and their problems. Understand, listen, listen, listen. There is no difference between you and me. I have decided to strengthen the reality component in me, which is constantly strengthening me, and discard the belief component in me, which is constantly weakening me. You also have both components. Just see which is weakening you constantly, complete and drop them. Just see which is strengthening you constantly. Entertain, engage, enrich, work with it, and strengthen that part of you again and again and again. That's all. What enriches you, let that be your entertainment. What enriches you, let that be your entrainment. What enriches you, let that be your enlightenment. The action can be as simple as pouring a water on Shivalinga, or going from street to street and having bhiksha, or cooking and feeding people, or doing your office work, or doing your household work, cleaning your living room, whatever may be the action. If the context is the reality, it strengthens you every day. While you are sweeping, ask yourself why you are doing it. If the answer can be connected to the reality of you, even that small action strengthens your reality. Let every action every thought be questioned by you, whether fear and greed is making me do this, or responsibility and enriching is making me do this. Choose, choose, choose. Align, align, align. Choose, choose, choose. Align, align, align. Again and again choose. The right context. Align yourself to the right context. The second truth I wanted to tell you, let your action be consistent. Don't get diluted. Even the simple things like why I am asking you to wear the Rudraksha or Sundaravadam, I can see many sannyasis, it is missing now. Now I have to remind and tell the Mahant, hey, what happened? Then they will say, you are also not wearing. A copper vessel need to be polished every day. Gold need not be. My biomemory need not be strengthened every day now anymore. So don't try to question me when I ask you. See, even these simple things, being consistent, especially while you are practicing. Once your very being radiates Shivoham, whether you apply Vibhuti or put Rudraksha, your being sings the truth. But till then, be consistent in your practices, because that helps you to align. That helps you to align. All the most powerful spiritual traditions, the traditions which created mass enlightened beings, mass blissful beings, Nata, Baul means Pahal, Dasa, Buddhist, Agoris. I can say these 5-6 traditions created mass enlightened beings. All of them have these two practices as a preliminary first spiritual practice. Please understand. All of them consistently have these two spiritual practice. Still I am not able to completely demystify why, how, but all of them have these two as a first spiritual practice. Nata, Yoga, Baul, Nirvanis, Buddhists, and Dasa, and Agoris, all of them. The moment somebody comes as a disciple, 2 instructions they will give. Live in cremation ground, go for bhiksha, and give food to others. Understand? They are not saying beg and eat, beg and share. And I am telling you, these traditions are so diametrically opposite in their concepts, beliefs, contexts. Bauls hate Vedantis. Vedantis can't stand Bahuls. Bahuls are the only Sampradaya. Vedantis have refused entry in Kumbh Mela. In Kumbh Mela, no one is ever refused entry. Bahuls are the Sampradaya. They don't allow them in Kumbh Mela. Bahuls have separate Kumbh Mela. And they also don't, they say, don't even fall in the shadow of Vedantis. If somebody is a Vedanti, don't even go into their house for Bhiksha. On the other side, Buddhists, they can't stand Vedics. There were many Buddhists who will tie their ears with the cloth or cotton if the Vedic mantras are chanted there. And Dasa Parampara, they can't stand Vedantis. This fight goes on eternally. One day, Vedanti, the Ganga Ghat, Varanasi Ganga Ghat is the place where all these traditions meet. Whether they become friends or fight, but they all meet there. The Ghats of Varanasi, I tell you, is the most sacred place for Vedic tradition. It is billion times sacred than any temple, any monastery, because that is where everything merged, everything faced each other. So in the Varanasi Ghat, one Vedanti wrote in a wall, in a big letter, Soham, means I am that. Next day when he came back, he saw one Dasa Parampara sadhu, Sant. He just put Da in front of that word. Dasoham. I am the servant. And these Vedantis, they don't keep quiet. Come on. Next day, this Vedanti added just Sa in front of Sada Soham. Always I am that. He put the Sa and went away. Next day, this Dasa Parampara, they also don't keep quiet. That fellow comes and puts again one more Da. Dasa Dasoham. And this fellow comes and adds one more Sa. Sada Sadasoham. And this continues. Dasa Dasa Dasoham. Sada Sada Sadahum. Sadasoham. They can't stand each other. Because I became enlightened at the age of 12, I did not take any stand. I enjoyed all these fights. I am telling you, I enjoyed all these fights. I'll nicely put full Namam and go for Das Parampara Bandaras. And listen to all the discussion, fight they have. And then next day I'll put nice Vibhuti and Kumkum and go for Vedanta Parampara Bandaras. And nicely listen to all their conversations, fights, everything. I understood one truth. People fight in the name of Brahmasutra Sankarabhashya, Brahmasutra Ramanujavashya, Brahmasutra Madhvabhashya. But unfortunately, none of these fellows who fight ever read that books. All these fellows can't stand each other. But very surprising, shocking, all of them consistently use this two technique. Whether you go and get initiated into Dasa Parampara or a Nirvani Naga or Agori or Buddhist or the Baul, any sampradaya you go and get initiated, these two will be the first instruction. Beg and share. Sit in the cremation ground and meditate. Watch whatever is happening. I realized these two processes makes you powerfully responsible and enriching. End of the day, whether you are a Baul, Dasa, Vedanti, Yogi, Agori, Buddhist, the enlightenment you need to experience happens only by these two qualities, responsibilism and enriching. That too is awakened in you by the Madhugari Bhiksha and Smashana Vasa. Madhugari Bhiksha and Smashana Vasa. Understand. The Madhugari Bhiksha takes away your deep anger, violence you carry towards life and others. It just heals you, completes you. Yesterday I was explaining in Inner Awakening session the offensive wars and defensive wars. Having minimal violence just to protect you and having aggressive violence constantly attacking everyone. These two have a huge difference. Krishna, Pandavas, a minimal violence just to protect them. Duryodhana, aggressive violence. See, the minimal violence, the protecting yourself, it can't even be called as violence. It is always powerfulness. Aggressive violence, attacking others, is always out of powerlessness. People ask me, how do you emerge victorious all the time, Swamiji? How many attacks comes to you? You emerge victoriously. Again, next day you are there on the Peta, giving satsang. I tell you, I don't have violence. I don't attack. I am just powerful enough to protect myself, defend myself, and the Sangha. That's all. As long as nobody attacks me, I don't even look at them. Even while they attack, I never attack them back. I only protect myself and the Sangha. And anybody who doesn't attack me, not only I bless them, I am ready to give even all the powers I have. I don't have a problem. Anybody who doesn't use those powers to attack me or the Sangha, I am ready to give everything. Sometimes people think they are like Bhasmasuras. They can take boon from me and then put their hand on my head. Come on, I have Vishnu. Don't think there is no protection mechanism. Actually, Vishnu came to kill Bhasmasura. Even otherwise, Bhasmasura cannot make Mahadeva into ashes by putting his hand on his head. Because the power which gave the power knows how to take the power back. Come on. Even Brahma could not reach the head of Mahadeva. For searching. How do you expect Bhasmasura can reach Mahadeva's head? When Brahma was traveling towards Mahadeva's head, the flower which was coming down, Brahma caught that flower and asked, "From where are you coming?" "No, Mahadeva kept me in the ears, so I am falling from the ears." Not even from the head, from the ears. Then Brahma asked that flower, "How long you are coming down?" "For Brahma's age I am coming down." Oh God! Then I have to take 4 births to reach the ears of Mahadeva. He said, "Chatur Brahma Kalpa Paryandam." 4 Brahma's age I am coming down. Then Brahma asked, "Can you at least tell me where are we both now?" "Maybe somewhere near the shoulder." But anyhow, Mahadeva does not want to play with Bhasmasura anymore. And it's time for him to get killed. That is why Vishnu came and he did what needs to be done. Anyhow, all I am trying to tell you, I have no anger or enmity towards anybody. As long as they don't attack me, my blessings. When they attack me, I just protect myself and the Sangha. That's all. Defend myself and the Sangha. When you are in the space of powerfulness, you always win the war. Even sometimes people who attack me, they come back and fall at my feet or tell, "Oh, they attacked you without knowing." I tell them, past is past. If you are not going to attack anymore, that's enough. Let's be friends. My blessings. You live your life. I live my life. For the sake of future, let us complete the past. Let's not drag the past. Because of the past, let's not destroy the future. For the sake of future, let us complete the past. Always look at the life understand. Always look at the life and bring completion into you. Completion to you. Completion to you. Madhugari Bhiksha, Smasana Vasa. Actually, Varanasi has a beautiful settlements. Buddhist Sarnath, Nagas, Nirvani, Das Parampara, Bauls, Agori, Kenaram Baba. All of them have settlements around. You go and take initiation in any Sampradaya. First they will say, sit in Manikarnika and go for Madhugari Bhiksha. It's a universal rule. So all Sampradaya initiates will be sitting in the around the Manikarnika in the night, in the daytime going around for Bhiksha Bandhana. Madhugari Bhiksha. Because it makes you responsible and enriching. Living in the Master's feet is both Bhiksha Vandana and living in Smashana, both. Because it constantly enriches you and makes you responsible. I bless you all. Let you all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching and causing eternal bliss. Nityananda. Thank you.
Nityananda Dhyanapitham, Nityananda Nagar, off Mysore Road, Bidadi, Bengaluru. Phone 08027279999. www.nityananda.org, www.youtube.com/Life Bliss Foundation.